Welcome back to the Casual Ethnographer. In today's episode, I'm going to take a more low-key approach, but before we get too in-depth, I'd like to wish you happy National Red Velvet Cake Day. It is a good day for cake lovers. My husband yesterday, when he went to run some errands, including picking up the groceries, he came home with a red velvet cake. And when I saw what was on the calendar, I realized, that makes sense. So we have a big old cake for the gluten eaters in my house. Also, happy Accounting Day. I myself have an accounting degree from Washington State University, where I also minored in anthropology. And then on a more serious note, happy Malcolm X Day. If you're not familiar with Malcolm X, I will include a couple links in the description box for you to read up on him. Fascinating guy. So on to today's episode. I will be doing some pickling. I've got green beans to pickle and also some onions and a cucumber. So just a quick pickle. Hope you enjoy that segment. And I will also be introducing a new segment called Shelf Indulgence. And over the last week or so, I've taken some pretty interesting pictures just out and about of the Port Orchard Waterfront and Joemma Beach State Park. So I'd like to share those with you today. It is a gloomy day here in Western Washington. It is gray, it is rainy, there's a little bit of a breeze, so it's a good day to be in the house. And I'm so glad you're back. This morning when I got up, I took Bertha out of the fridge and set her on the stove. She seems to warm up a little better when I set her on the burners because she gets airflow all around. Just giving her a quick stir before I remove the discard. I removed 240 grams of discard, measured by this food scale. The flours I used today were sweet potato flour, buckwheat flour, and cassava flour. I am not sponsored by any of these brands, but these are brands I tend to buy most often. I just like the way they perform and taste. And no, I didn't measure anything. The water out of this kettle was from my morning tea, and it was barely warm, certainly not hot. To ensure I got a good reaction from the feeding, I did add a little bit of honey. I gave her a good stir, cleaned the jar, and moved the tape. Then I covered her with a single ply paper towel and set her over by the window. I remembered last week after the feeding that she seems to do better when she's allowed to rise next to the window. So that's what I did today, and she did give me a very good rise. In this episode, I will be introducing a new segment, recurring segment, that I will be calling Shelf Indulgence. Think of it sort of as a virtual book club. This first book that I will be covering is the Norse myths. I will include in the description box information on the book if you would like to join in. I intend to read in the next week. I've given myself little tabs here to stay on track. The introduction, which I flipped through, and it looked like it was important to understanding the myths, and then the first myth called the creation. And so that's roughly 30-ish pages, and then for the next 2 weeks after that, roughly the same amount. I will report back next week on Monday what I learned, what I found interesting, any other comments that I might have. And if you'd like to join along, please feel free to do so in the comments. Also, if you would like to participate even more in this virtual book club, I would be curious to know if you have any book recommendations. I am someone who buys books and doesn't always read them in a timely manner, so I do have quite a few to get through, and so I'm going to start there. But if you have any great suggestions, I would love to hear them. Okay, today we're going to do some pickling. I've got my cookbook over here, one of many. This is the one that my mother gave me. I think the book itself is from the 70s, for me to fill in, and sometimes I fill them in, sometimes I just shove things in, so it's a bit of a mess. So this pickling recipe is very, very basic, and the first step is going to look a little bizarre to you, but this is how I was taught to do it. So I am going to be making, you see I've got some jars that I have saved and washed, and I'm going to make a triple batch of the brine, and the first step is grinding the peppercorns on the bottom of the pan. So typically I would do, I don't know if you can see that, probably the equivalent of like a half or a 3/4 tablespoon, but we're going to do 3 times that amount. And if you like things more peppery, use more pepper, less peppery, less pepper. This is just the way I was taught to do it. Okay, so we are going to crush these and then put them in the pan. The goal is mostly just to kind of break them open so that they release some of their flavor. We don't want them ground. They kind of shoot over the kitchen sometimes. Okay, so once we get that, just crush them a little bit. They can go in the pot. And then I'm actually going to put the pot to the side until I'm ready to make the brine. So I am going to be making pickled green beans for sure. A lot of times when I pickle things, sometimes I do it on purpose because I want pickled things, and sometimes it's because we just need to use up the ingredients. In this case, the green beans need to be used up. These are old olive jars. I will be using those. And this is an old pickle jar. So I think I should be able to fit all of the green beans in one of these. And then cucumber in another, and then pickled onions in the last. Now, I might not have enough pickling solution. It happens sometimes. And then I just make additional as I need it. So this is fresh dill. I am not going to chop it. I am just going to cut off the end and shove it down in the jar. Now, when I pickle onions, I don't add dill. When I pickle beans, I do. With cucumber, I typically use celery seed, but I am out right now. So they are going to be dill this time. Because no one eats the dill, we don't need to worry about chopping it. It's just going to sit in the bottom. Make sure sure it doesn't end up in my coffee. Okay. So, with the rest of the prep, oh, this guy grew a little tail. I am just going to prep this garlic and peel it, cut it in half, and shove it in the bottom of each jar. So this is a fun little tip that my daughters and I saw on a reel on social media, and we tried it. We're like, surely this isn't going to work, and it does. So I will show you today. I will pass the gift along. So we're just going to throw the garlic in there with the skins on, and then we're going to shake the two bowls together. Okay, see? Peeled. And a lot less stressful than standing here and pulling all the papers off. One guy didn't cooperate, but he's not so bad. Okay, and then we have a bowl of the peels. Okay. Okay, I forgot one ingredient. This is a serrano pepper. I like things spicy. So does my husband. So I'm not going to do anything fancy with this other than I am going to take some of the seeds out because I'm hopeful that my daughters will eat a little bit, and if it's too hot, they won't. Okay. Wash my pepper hands. Okay, for this we need, it's going to be 9 tablespoons of sugar because it's a triple recipe. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons of salt, so that will be 4.5 since it's triple. Okay, and we did the peppercorn, so then that leaves 3 cups of vinegar. I'm just going to bring this to a boil and then pour it in my jars and decide if I need more. Okay, come to a boil. Just stirring it so that the hot vinegar, it'll get you. Okay. Oh yeah, I definitely made nowhere near enough. All right, well, let's do that again. Okay, so these pickles are going to sit on my counter for the next few hours till they come down to room temperature. And then I will put a lid on them and stick them in the fridge because they're quick pickled and not canned. They will not be good for extended periods of time. They have a 3-week shelf life. So since today is May 19th, they should be good through about June 9th. I put them on salads, we just snack on them. Very few people in my house like the onions, so these will probably be mostly mine. The rest I will have to share. So that wraps up today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the content and that you will join me back here on Thursday for the part 2 in our 3-part series about the power of hair. And then on Monday, for a special Memorial Day episode, I will also feed Bertha and do the next segment of Shelf Indulgence. From Max and I here, we thank you for joining us today. And as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your presence.